at the moment when someone at my side says, "There, he is gone." There are other eyes watching his coming, and other voices ready to take up a glad shout. Here he comes.
Thank you, Courtney. Bradford. I'd like to introduce Kelly's brother, Brad.
My name is Brad. Kelly is my brother. And eulogies are hard, y'all. so, a whole lot to say about someone you care very much about. Just a little bit about my brother. He served in the Army. He owned his own business. Was an entrepreneur and a tinkerer. I think he'd also tell people that he was a part-time model. Growing up, we fought quite a lot, all the time. As a matter of fact, there was one day in Virginia where we got along that entire day, and it was such a big deal that we put it on the calendar, that we got along that one day without arguing. And I remember Mom, suggesting to us that, well, we should do that all the time. And that streak lasted exactly one day. That was it. And growing up, my sister reminded me recently how she used to always agree with my brother. If there was ever an argument, she and my brother would gang up on me. And so Courtney, I like you less than I did 5 days ago. Growing up, we did have some good times in Arizona. One of the times that Kelly told on me was Mom came home, and for whatever reason, Kelly decided to tell her that I had a pack of cigarettes at the ripe old age of 11. And of course, then I had to proceed to tell her how Kelly was the one who taught me how to smoke at age 11, and that he taught me when I was 9 in Virginia. This is kind of the theme throughout our lives together. Another time here in Texas, and Mom will remember this one well. One of our weekly activities was, Brad chasing Kelly around the house with a butcher knife, and Kelly calling Mom at work to let her know that Brad was trying to kill him. As we got older, we reconnected. When I was 18 and my brother was 21, he came home from the Army with jet black hair and earrings and, into the club scene and dancing. And I had just graduated from high school. I was all into pop music, but, I really liked techno music. And so through music, my brother and I connected, and we went to the club all the time. We'd go from 10 at night until 6 in the morning. And, he would create these, wonderful mixtapes, because at the time we had mixtapes. He had this one mixtape that he was so proud of, and I remember him telling me, when he moved back to Maine, he told me, hey, I was looking forward to listening to my mixtape the whole way up there. However, what he didn't realize is I'd taken that mixtape and replaced it with a pop single. and he was like, I had to listen to that shit the entire way. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. Kelly was so many things. Charismatic, nostalgic. He talked about the times that we spent up at the cottage with family, and he'd always get a special, light to his eye, talking about those things. He was warm. He loved his family. He had a, very tender spot for animals. Had a very successful business called Grooming Dales, where he was a dog groomer, and, the community loved him up there. I visited him up there, and, so proud. So, I'm gonna miss him. His wit. We'd always want to get the last word in, whether it was he or I, and he'd get this look of exasperation. He just like, oh well, he'd throw his arms up in the air. I'm gonna miss that. But I guess I get the last word. Thank you.
Julia, would you come up now? This is Julia, my amazing daughter.
Okay, so this is a note or letter that my brother Josh, Kelly's nephew, wrote, and I'm going to read it. Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. I couldn't be more grateful to have had the opportunity to hang out with Uncle Kelly quite often when he moved to Texas. Some of my favorite memories with him were going to Applebee's and both trying and being very impressed by the Impossible Burger, playing loud music in the Mustang, and watching Hereditary, a movie that was way too scary for me at the time. We used to sit out on the back patio and talk about who knows what until way past when Nana would go to bed. He was always very open and honest with me despite me being much younger at the time. He was completely accepting of me, and I think he could tell I was the same way with him. One thing that sticks out to me now is a good representation of who Kelly is how he would always refer to people after moving down to Texas. It was always baby or darling or honey or sweetheart whenever he met a stranger. He used to use such terms so often, I remember him telling me it actually got him in trouble once with a stranger giving the rebuttal, "I ain't your baby," which came as a shock to him. Kelly was a warm and infectiously compassionate person who wouldn't judge or bat an eye at the typical human imperfections. The thing that is most difficult for me now is how badly I want him to see how much I have grown and achieved since the last time I got to talk to him. However, I know he must be so overwhelmed to now get to look down and watch over me as I continue to do more. I know he'd be so happy for me and everything I've done, and I owe a lot of my foundation to the advice and conversations we had the opportunity to share back on Nana's patio. Thank you, Uncle Kelly. I love you.
Now, Jeff Chasney, Kelly's dad, might have something to say.
Well, learn a lot listening. Prior to Texas, so Kelly lived in Lexington with one of the things that's good for me being up here is I can't see anybody because I don't have my glasses on, and it's always toughest when you see people's faces, and I can see the people in the front but not in the back, so it's a good thing. Kelly did. He lived with me in Lexington for several years, and much of what I've already heard so resonates because that was Kelly. So he would skip school. He was incredible in terms of his love for everyone, his kindness, but he was also constantly doing wrong things. And one of those would be don't go to school and play. I'm a techie, I'm a geek. And one of the things that I always had at home, of course, was a home computer. And back then, for those of you that are old enough to remember, we used these cradles that you put the phone into, and it was very slow. And you used your phone, which means that every place that you would go into had a record of you having come to their place. And lo and behold, he had skipped school one day and apparently was mischievous with his friend, Wojak, which he called